say Crawford. If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford. What Canelo has is size, and as a result, physical strength and punching power.
And a neck as wide as Broadway, for crying out loud.
Right.
The thing that I don't like about Canelo is that it's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yes.
They both hit hard. Because and you can see the strength. You know, when I was fighting against Crawford, I didn't think Crawford was that strong, but when he kind of moved me around a little bit, he is very strong as well. So look, yeah, but why does he need to give that much weight? He's pound for pound #1 in the world. Why does he have to go up and fight Canelo?
Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith analyze the clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Stephen A. predicts Crawford edges out a decision, but urges caution. He recalls Gervonta Davis's warning that Crawford might struggle if he trades too often. Given Canelo's natural size and strength, Stephen A. insists Crawford must depend on defense, speed, and ring intelligence rather than toe-to-toe exchanges. Both experts underline that strategy, not raw power, will determine the fight.
And a neck as wide as Broadway, for crying out loud.
Right.
The thing that I don't like about Canelo is that it's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yes.
And that's not beating Crawford. I will confess, I think Gervonta Davis's trainer, Cal, I think he said this. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble, and I'm not sure it was him, but I think it was him. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble if he decides to engage with Canelo, because Canelo is the naturally bigger stroke fighter. And I don't care that Crawford's gotten bigger, and I don't care that Crawford's gonna go in there just as big as Canelo. Canelo is accustomed to fighting at the weight.
Meanwhile, Max Kellerman argues that Terence Crawford's complete skill set looks sharper, giving him a technical advantage. He emphasizes Canelo Alvarez's granite chin and naturally larger frame with broader bones that provide power in close exchanges. Still, in recent bouts, Canelo hasn't appeared as sharp or dominant as before, showing slight decline. This clash between Crawford's refined skill and Canelo's size and toughness shapes the fight as timing versus resilience.
Great chin, a great chin. But in terms of if you want to go skill for skill, especially the recent version of Canelo, who's had to turn into a seek and destroy guy, who had to learn as his career went on to cut off the ring and not just follow guys around. Like Lara, Trout, Floyd, he followed those guys around. He had trouble because he's really a natural counterpuncher who wants you to come to him. But in recent years at super middleweight, he's gotten really good at cutting off the ring. Again, last fight notwithstanding. So as an overall suite of skills, recent vintage, it's been Crawford. But Canelo also is skilled and has a larger skeleton than Crawford. No matter what they weigh, Canelo's the bigger guig.
Yeah. You briefly mentioned Canelo's power, so who I would assume Canelo has the
You'd have to think, unless Crawford was on a knockout streak until he moved up to junior middleweight and then failed to stop Madrimov.
4. Timothy Bradley Jr., known for his sharp boxing mind, predicts the opening round of Canelo versus Crawford will be cautious. He expects both men to avoid reckless risks early, instead studying timing, movement, and openings. Bradley notes Crawford is especially deliberate in big fights, watching carefully before setting traps. Canelo has also shown a habit of feeling out distance and rhythm before adjusting. This approach, Bradley explains, means round 1 will be tactical, not explosive.
I'm Bud County all the way, but this is going to be the toughest fight, the best fighter Bud has ever been in the ring with. And arguably, this could be the best fighter Canelo has ever been in the ring with. We'll find out which one is which on September 13th.
Antonio, I appreciate your time. Safe travels back home.
Man, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Antonio.
Amir Khan, who has fought both Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, gives a unique perspective. Khan insists Crawford already proved himself as an all-time great within his natural weight classes, especially at welterweight. He warns weight divisions exist for a reason, since moving up against bigger men carries danger. Khan believes Crawford did not need to accept such pressure. Still, he admires the ambition, calling it a bold bid to silence critics and test history. Yet, he warns, it is a high-risk gamble.
Crawford wants to feel his punching power as well. In the beginning, it's all the position balance. Like both guys are trying to get balance and trying to find their rhythm. understanding their distance to where they can punch and at the same time avoid getting hit. You know, it takes Crawford a little bit of more time than I would say Canelo to get right to it. Canelo, although he is I would say he is a prolific counterpuncher, fantastic counterpuncher. You know, he tends to find his spots a lot quicker. You know, and the indication of that is when, if you look at any of the boxers that Canelo has faced, Trout, even Danny Jacobs, even when he fought against Charlo, you just check out the first round. You know, he usually takes off, just feels the power, you know, cruises, you know, see what these guys know, couple of feints, level changes, you know, just gathering information, right? Crawford does the same and similar things. So I think the first round's gonna be a real calm and cautious round by both fighters. But in the second round, Canelo's gonna start applying that pressure. Pre-engagement with Crawford is a little bit more difficult than a Charlo, okay? And let me explain this. So pre-engagement is the movements before you get into that sweet spot, which is mid-range, to be able to let your hands go, right? Both guys are trying to counter each other's movement. Both guys are looking at each other's, hands, trying to anticipate what they believe is going to come next.
Promoter Tom Leffler views the fight from a business and spectacle angle. He explains that Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford are two of the sport's biggest attractions, each with huge fan bases spanning nations and demographics. Leffler argues that very few modern fights equal this event in size. It is not only a skill clash, but a collision of empires. Canelo as boxing's established face, and Crawford as pound-for-pound king. He believes the hype is justified.
We had all the build-up, we're nothing but respectful. I just feel that, you know, in boxing, weight divisions are made there for a purpose. They make them for a purpose. And I highly respect and say pound for pound, the best fighter is Crawford by far. It beats anyone. But when you start putting weight on and you go up a weight and you fight these guys like Canelo, even though Canelo might be now getting a little bit older and might be slowing down a little bit, but he's still going to be very dangerous. That punch power, you're still going to get tagged, you're still going to get hit. You're going to have to spar heavier guys to get ready for that anyway. So you're going to be taking a lot of wear and tear anyway. You're going to have to put adding a few pounds on. Does he need to put that pressure on himself? He's done what no one's ever done before. 2-time undisputed world champion. So why not just enjoy it? But obviously you want to go for that next challenge. Now for him, he wants to go for that Canelo. I would advise him not to go for that. But if he's the man and he knows how good he is himself. So I can't really say to him that do this or do that. So really,
he believes in his skills. He
believes in his skill. We can't answer for him. We let him go and do it. You know what I'm saying? And we all might be wrong. He might be even stronger than Canelo. He might pack the weight on well. That he might do really well in there. So look,
God fought them both. Like, what are the differences between them? Obviously, he's way.
Canelo's strong and he's easily hit. Very easily hit, very easily. Compared to when I fought against Crawford, I couldn't hit clean. So really, that's the difference. And they both hit hard. Because and you can see the strength. You know, when I was fighting against Crawford, I didn't think Crawford was that strong, but when he kind of moved me around a little bit, he is very strong as well. So look, yeah, but why does he need to give that much weight? He's pound for pound #1 in the world. Why does he have to go for fighting Canelo?
Trainer Dave Coldwell highlights Crawford's versatile style, stressing his ability to change stances fluidly and use footwork to manage range. Coldwell calls Crawford's legs one of his most overlooked weapons, letting him create angles, frustrate rivals, and set the tempo. Against a strong pressure fighter like Canelo, Coldwell argues mobility could prove decisive. He explains that if Crawford stays on the move and avoids the ropes, he has the means to outbox Canelo and score points.
Profile show, it's huge. It doesn't get any bigger than that. And, you got to give credit to both guys. They're both very confident. They both have very passionate fan bases. Callum, having fought in Dublin, packed the arena out there in the 3 Arena, having fought at Madison Square Garden 3 times, fought in Boston, and then Fernando Jr., from one of the biggest boxing named families, in the history of boxing. He's going to bring out a huge fan base. So it's a really exciting addition to such a big show that it like I said, doesn't get any bigger than that for sure.
I agree. I think that you, along with me, have seen some of these criticisms of the undercard. But really, when you look at it, I mean, we both know Callum Walsh so well. The personality and the authenticity that he brings to the sport is just so sincere. He's so real. Being from Ireland, coming overseas to train and dedicate his life to this craft, and his personality is so magnetic that it obviously brought someone like Dana White to be a huge supporter of him.
Jeff Mayweather stresses the factor of weight and natural size, calling it one of the most crucial issues here. He explains that Canelo has long ruled at super middleweight, a class built for his frame. Terence Crawford, in contrast, is moving into a weight not truly his own, raising doubts about how extra mass may impact his stamina, quickness, and resistance. Mayweather underlines that Canelo's comfort at this weight gives him a built-in edge.
The fight got made, I've always fancied Crawford. Just think it's different. I think there's something about him. I think if you add what Crawford's good at, he can switch. He's very good as southpaw. His judgment at distance is fantastic. His punch picking is fantastic. He's got good legs. When you add what, and he can pop. I mean, listen, I'm not saying he's got the power to hurt Canelo, but he might have the power to surprise Canelo a little bit and just sting him. But when you look at what Crawford does well, and then I look at this version of Canelo, as Canelo's got on, his punch rate's gone down. His feet have never been the fastest, but he's always had good placement of feet. His feet aren't the fastest. And he loads up, and he don't really like boxing at a pace. So I kind of look at that and I think Crawford can manage his way through the fight to win it on points. I think he can manage moments, tough moments. When Canelo detonates a big shot on him, he's going to know about it because Crawford's been hurt before. Crawford gets hit, he does get hit. That's why he's exciting, but he does get hit. So that means that Canelo could land on him. I just think that Canelo will land a bomb and Crawford knows enough to tie up, to get off an angle, get that distance.
A Ring Magazine analyst examines Canelo's recent outings, noting that even with hard training and solid preparation, one weakness has become clear. Lately, Canelo has struggled to cut off the ring with effectiveness. That flaw has let opponents escape and avoid his big punches, versus someone like Crawford, whose movement and angles drive his tactics. This could be damaging. The analyst insists Canelo must recapture his ability to trap foes and close escape lanes.
Factor, this is a weight class that Canelo is already, owned. He owns this weight class. So, and he even went up higher. So, he's already proven what he can do and what he can take at those other weight classes. So, I don't know, but if anyone can do it, it probably would be Terence Crawford. This guy seems like he's amazing. I'm a big fan of Terence Crawford, but I'm a big fan of Canelo as well. It's one of those situations where somebody has to lose. So I don't know who's gonna lose. But I think that it's going to be a great fight. I think it's going to be a great fight.
Former champion David Haye provides a surprising change of view. At first, Haye believed Canelo's size and punch strength would overwhelm Crawford, making victory nearly impossible for the smaller fighter. Yet after watching Crawford train and seeing his dedication and sharp skills, Haye admits he now feels differently. He confesses he was unsure at first, but now sees Crawford as having a genuine chance to win this fight.
I should have any position to critique and criticize Canelo. But one of the things that he's gotten in trouble with in the last couple of fights, not being able to cut off the ring. You go to the William Skull fight and you watch him chase William Skull around and around and around that ring. And yes, William Skull was running from him. That was pretty clear to see. He was on his bike utilizing his jab, but you didn't see Canelo cut him off. You didn't see him move laterally to be able to stop a lot of that running or stop a lot of that circling around the ropes, which is his responsibility if he's going to take the front foot and look to establish himself offensively. And when I watch Canelo here, he's gotten away with this pretty much his entire career, but I watch him cross-step a lot. And you see it right there, where he goes from circling, he rolls under the right hand, and instead of moving laterally, replacing his back foot with his front foot, he L-steps and then crosses over, which instead of just moving laterally and shifting, like I said, shuffling to his right off of the L-step, off of the reset, which would allow him to be ready to go and ready to fight again, it takes him that extra beat to get back into fight stance.
Jeff Horn, the former world champion, issues a clear warning to Canelo Alvarez. He says that while power and size matter, they do not guarantee a win. Horn argues Crawford's elite defensive ability allows him to reduce damage and neutralize strength. He adds that Crawford can anticipate shots, slip blows, and avoid clean hits. That could make Canelo's size less effective if punches don't land flush. Horn stresses defense may frustrate Canelo and open counters.
That's beating Canelo. I've been a fan of his for a long time, and likewise with Crawford. I never thought there was a version of reality where they'd both be in the ring with each other. I initially automatically assumed, because Canelo's obviously beaten, he was the light heavyweight champion of the world, undisputed super middleweight champion of the world. He's just campaigned at a much bigger weight, so bigger can be some good little, usually. Until I saw them standing next to each other and they looked the same size, so I couldn't quite figure it out. I was like, okay, if they're the same size, then it's literally pound for pound. Who's pound for pound better? And that's it, they're both pound for pound fighters. A lot of people have got them 1 and 2. And I favoured Canelo starting off, but over time, I'm starting to think, once again, Crawford is one of those guys where he reminds me of kind of Andre Ward a little bit, that mindset, and he wouldn't put himself in a position if he didn't know for sure he had enough firepower to deal with someone of Canelo's stature, Canelo's history. But it's the two best fighters on the planet. Mixing it up, it's like one of those dream fights, a proper trade fight. That anyone who's interested in boxing wants to see two living legends going at it. Yeah, I can't believe it's actually happening. That makes sense, because they're so big in their own right. The fact that fight would never have happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It just wouldn't have happened. But now anything's possible in boxing. Anything's possible.
Finally, a veteran fighter who has tracked Terence Crawford's rise sums up with confidence. After reviewing Crawford's training, growth, and past performances, he declares he cannot bet against him. He highlights Crawford's mental strength, consistency, and ability to shine in high-pressure moments. These qualities separate him from others. For this veteran, Crawford has already proved his place among the greats, and this bout with Canelo is another chance to confirm it.
Me analyzing and watching Crawford over all these years, I just cannot bet against him, bro. No, you can't. I'm going to roll with Crawford, and shout out to Nebraska, and that's just what it is. I'm so glad you're here, Big. I'm gonna go ahead and put my bread down on Crawford, and I'm gonna live with the result.
You were a DB, right?
I played wide receiver, kick return, punt return.
Oh, why did I think you was a DB?
No.
Even being a wide receiver, you fit the bill of a Terence Crawford. If Terence was a football player, he more than likely would be a DB or a wide receiver.
Yeah.
How much weight did you put on leaving high school going into college?